How two farmers are providing fresh vegetables for their community in a new way.
Our next system starts to move in tomorrow, bringing us a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms. I'll have those details right now at 5:30.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. The Kentucky Department of Public Health has just released today's updated COVID-19 numbers in Kentucky. They report 477 new cases today, bringing the state total to 20,677. They also announced 10 new deaths today, bringing that total to 645. One of those deaths was in Laurel County, where they now have 230 cases. Through today, 498,179 coronavirus tests have been performed, and at least 5,475 Kentuckians have recovered. For more on COVID-19 in the mountains, a lot of new cases reported in several areas today. Visit our website at WYMT.com, and we'll have more also tonight at 6 from different areas. Highway 15 near Grapevine in Perry County is still closed at last check following a crash this morning. Police tell us a coal truck and a car crashed head-on. This was several hours ago. We have still not confirmed yet if anyone was killed. Now here are some detours. If you are coming from Breathitt County, take Highway 1146. If you are coming from Perry County, take Highway 267. Again, Highway 15 near Grapevine still closed. We hope it reopens maybe within the hour. We will of course let you know when that roadway reopens. While the pandemic has led to thousands becoming unemployed and many businesses to go into bankruptcy, two farmers in London experienced both. Without jobs and more than 100 acres of unusable hemp crop, they decided to take a leap of faith and begin a new type of crop, opening not only one but two stores during these difficult times. WYMT's Lacey Roberts spoke to one of the owners of Cornet Farm Fresh about their growing success.
We both got laid off and we kind of thought, okay, now what's next?
Beginning with 1 acre of tomatoes.
We knew people would be wanting more true farm fresh, things that hadn't been on a truck, hadn't been shipped in.
Rhonda Cornett and her husband Brent would start a new adventure using previous materials from their tobacco farm.
So we've converted those into like high tunnel greenhouses. Everybody's like, oh, I don't want a greenhouse tomato. Well, then they eat our greenhouse tomatoes and they're like, oh my gosh.
From tomatoes to peppers, corn, green beans, and watermelon, they decided to set up a storefront on their farm.
Started right here. We had a couple tables set off to kind of keep people out of the processing line area.
Using a temperature-controlled chlorinated wash.
It sprays on the fruits and has a gentle brush, then it rolls across sponges to dry it.
Cleaning and boxing all produce in-house.
Even though it's not far, it's not convenient.
Soon outgrowing the space, it was time for a new location, just 7 miles down the road.
In 11 days of being open, we've already had like 1,700 customers. We've got some folks that come in every day just to get what they're going to have for supper that night.
Everything in the store is picked the night before or that morning.
So what don't you guys do?
Sleep. We don't sleep very much around here. It's kind of burning the candle at both ends.
All worth it to serve a community that helped them when they needed it most. In London, Lacey Roberts, WYMT Mountain News.
Cornet Farm Fresh is open Tuesdays through Fridays from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturdays from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Masks are required and seniors may shop from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for their convenience. A promising development in the search for a coronavirus vaccine. Researchers say every single one of the volunteers who was part of the first COVID-19 vaccine tested in the U.S. showed an immune response. The experimental vaccine was developed by Moderna and the National Institutes of Health. The team reported in the New England Journal of Medicine that the 45 people who received it now have so-called neutralizing antibodies, a key to blocking infection.
It's a 2-dose vaccine, and there were some people who had sore arms and a little bit of fever and some fatigue, etc. The small price to pay for protection against COVID, I would think.
The goal is to have 300 million doses of potential vaccines by January. Nearly 24 possible COVID-19 vaccines are in various stages of testing around the world. Marines here in the U.S. are taking the fight to the coronavirus, participating in a comprehensive study on how it spreads among young people. Marines give saliva samples, nasal swabs, and blood draws. Anyone testing COVID-19 positive will be tracked and retested at least 6 times over 8 weeks. Researchers want to learn more about how the virus spreads and how long someone's immune system will keep up the fight. Their findings will be compared to people more vulnerable to the virus. Senator Mitch McConnell was in Cynthiana today thanking healthcare workers. He spoke at Harrison Memorial Hospital this morning. Chelsea Jones has more on Senator McConnell's visit, including what he says is important in preventing the spread of COVID-19.
On a visit to Harrison Memorial Hospital, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had a lot to say about the pandemic.
The question now is, where do we go from here?
As COVID-19 cases spike across the country, McConnell is focused on a new stimulus bill he called the CARES Act a success, saying the state benefited from $12 billion in federal aid. About $1 billion of that went to healthcare providers and hospitals like Harrison, which lost money as elective procedures stopped.
We're very grateful for the relief that we've received from the CARES Act. Now, we were actually the first hospital in the state to have a COVID patient.
But McConnell noted the CARES Act was not perfect, saying some entities should not have received money. What do you think was the biggest mistake with the CARES Act?
Particularly, I was offended because I thought the law clearly prohibited Planned Parenthood, for example.
He wore a mask as he talked with healthcare staff. Although masks have become a part of the political debate, McConnell says everybody should wear one.
Each of us as individuals need to take responsibility for doing something that's not that complicated. Wear a mask, practice social distancing, prevent the spread.
He also expressed support for children returning to the classroom this fall.
Because it affects both mom and dad's ability to get back to work if the kids are at home.
He said reopening schools will be one of his top priorities for the next federal aid rescue package. In Cynthiana, Chelsea Jones, WKYT.
As mentioned, Harrison Memorial Hospital treated the state's first known COVID-19 patient.
It's been a steamy one out there today, but really we've just seen the hot temperatures. The humidity hasn't moved in quite yet, but it is on the way heading into the next couple of days. Looking at that Jackson camera, 90 degrees right now. This feels like 92, so feeling a little bit warmer. Dew point right around 65 degrees, so slightly muggy out there, but overall not too bad. The dew points have been relatively nice today. Lower 90s though for almost all of us except for Pikeville and Wise at 88 degrees. 93 up in Huntington, 90 in Jackson, 91 in London and Williamsburg, 92 down into Middlesboro. So like I said, some areas seeing those mid to upper 60s like Jackson, Prestonsburg, Pikeville. So feeling a little bit more of that getting sticky to uncomfortable category, but a lot of us are in kind of those low to mid 60s. So nothing too terrible, especially compared to the dew points we're going to see over the next couple of days. So for this evening, try to enjoy it. Just try not to be in the sun too much. Temperatures expected to drop below 90 by the time we get to right around that 8 o'clock hour. Mostly clear skies continue as we head into the rest of the evening hours, and we'll only see temperatures drop into about the lower 70s for those overnight lows. So going to be a warm start to your Thursday. The hot temperatures continue. Scattered storms return tomorrow, and after that, well, it's still going to be pretty hot and humid out there. I'll have your full 7-day forecast coming up in a little bit.
All right, thank you, Paige. Officials say a Kentucky mayor was killed when a lawnmower rolled on top of him while he was cutting grass on city property. The Lincoln County coroner says Stanford Mayor Scotty Ernst died following the accident on Tuesday afternoon. Markham said Ernst stepped off the edge of a creek bank and the mower rolled onto him. Officials said the mayor regularly did mowing duties for the city. The city said in a statement that he was elected mayor in 2018 after serving nearly 15 years on the city council. More than 80 people were arrested for peacefully protesting on Attorney General Daniel Cameron's lawn Tuesday afternoon. The national organization Until Freedom organized the protest in Louisville. Organization leaders say they were demanding justice for Breonna Taylor. Among those arrested were Kenny Stills, a wide receiver for the Houston Texans, and Portia Williams of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Two-time Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert has been suspended for 15 days by the Arkansas Racing Commission. That announcement was made after 2 of his horses tested positive for a banned substance. The commission says in a ruling that the suspension runs from August 1st to August 15th. It said Baffert violated a rule that says a trainer shall ultimately be responsible for the condition of any horse that is entered, regardless of the acts of any third parties. President Trump traveled to Georgia to offer his administration's plan to roll back environmental regulations. The Trump administration wants to change the 50-year-old National Environmental Policy Act. The act mandates environmental reviews of major federal infrastructure projects from freeways to pipelines. Using a freeway in the Atlanta area as a backdrop, the president argues the regulations have blocked or delayed important infrastructure projects.
Cutting the federal permitting timeline for a major project from up to 20 years or more, hard to believe, down to 2 years or less.
In a statement, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce applauded the Trump administration's action, saying it returns the National Environmental Policy Act back to its original intent. Do you feel stuck in your job? Have you been laid off? Are you ready to find something new? Now there's a new ad campaign and resource that might be able to help. Our Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Policastro tells us about it.
The Ad Council created these iconic campaigns.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
Smokey Bear.
You could learn a lot from a dummy.
And the crash test dummies. Now their latest public service announcement is trying to inspire Americans who need a job.
But you got to keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
The Find Something New campaign highlights workers who are using skills-based education to start or switch careers. The PSAs will appear across the country, on TV, online, and in print. According to the latest numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, nearly 18 million Americans are unemployed, but there are only 5.4 million job openings.
The Find Something New campaign is the latest initiative of a White House advisory board. The executives of big businesses like Apple and IBM have a seat at the table.
So we were thinking, how do we get people who have been marginalized, who are on the sidelines, how do we get them to re-enter the workforce, go through these apprenticeship, these training programs, learn while you earn, and acquire the skills for great careers?
Presidential advisor Ivanka Trump is leading the White House effort. In an exclusive interview, she tells me she doesn't believe going to college is the right path for everyone.
What kind of skills are in demand right now?
We see employers from Walmart to Target hiring. There's a tremendous demand in the tech space, and these are for cloud computing, for IT entry-level positions do not require college degrees. They require a form of credential and training.
Trump is encouraging people to check out findsomethingnew.org. The website offers aptitude tests, a virtual career network, and information on resources for people struggling during unemployment. At the White House, I'm Jacqueline Policastro.
According to Kentucky labor officials, there have been a total of 6,630 unemployment claims made in Kentucky just since June 21st. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, reasons you might want to lease and not buy a car right now.
The heat and humidity continue, but scattered showers and storms return tomorrow as well. I'll have those details coming up.